Hi, it's Llarold. Let's talk about delves, but first, a bit of business. We get a lot of questions on the channel, we try to answer them all, and that's not changing, but YouTube makes it hard to see replies, so if you have a follow-up question and you would like us to see it, make a new comment thread instead of replying to an existing one. I don't know why YouTube is like that, but anyway, there it is. Okay, algorithm stuff, you know what it is, like the video and so on. And now let's delve into this video's subject matter. What are delves? They are a 5 to 10 minute scenario that gives currency and gear rewards. They're pretty well tutorialized during the campaign, and they serve as an alternate in-game path alongside raids and Mythic Plus dungeons. There are several different potential storylines inside of each delve that rotate on a daily basis, and item locations and stuff throughout each delve will be randomized every single time you step into them. So no two delves are exactly alike, but if you played MOP or MOP Remix and experienced scenarios, then these are a modern reimagining of that concept. They have fixed what I felt was the biggest problem with MOP scenarios by not having escort quests or time-delayed objectives be the main focus of delves. So I do think they are immensely superior to scenarios, but there's definitely a similarity. Like a sandwich versus a hamburger, they're clearly related, but they're not the same. One is better. Okay, stop. Before I go any further, do not correct me in the comments. Hamburgers are not sandwiches. You would never say I'm going to have a sandwich for lunch and then go to the hamburger store. You've never done that. Do not lie to me. I will know. So delves are soloable. They can also be done with up to 5 players. They are pretty flexible. And there are currently 12 delves available, which is fun to say, 12 delves. There is a secret 13th delve that kind of ruins everything, and it's called Zekvir's Lair. It is not available until Season 1 starts, and we don't really know much about it other than that, really. There are 11 difficulty levels in delves as well, but only 8 of them give increasing gear rewards, so the ceiling is 8. Levels 9 through 11 are just there for challenge and like cosmetic rewards and achievements, but only levels 1 through 3 are available right now. The other levels 4 through 11 will unlock once Season 1 starts. Now, completing a level of delve unlocks the next level, and this is account-wide and it applies to all delves, so you only need to finish one level 2 delve to unlock all delves on level 3, and you only need to finish one delve on level 4 to unlock all delves on level 5, and so on. Now, in terms of the reward level, +3s give eye level 554 gear, as well as some random currency items and a handful of gold. So they're about on par with normal dungeons right now. And also, I do mean a handful of gold. I've gotten 9 gold from a treasure room at the end of a delve. Try not to spend it all in one place. Now, higher level delves will give higher level rewards, but these aren't available yet. They're going to scale more or less like Mythic Plus, but because this is soloable content and it's relatively easy, the ceiling on gear will be lower, with Hero Track gear being the maximum obtainable reward from the Great Vault for delves, which that will be an option. You will be able to get weekly rewards from delves, as well as Mythic Plus, or I guess non-Mythic Plus dungeons, and then obviously raids. And then Champion Track gear will be the maximum attainable reward from Bountiful Delves, which I'll cover those in a bit more detail later on. Now, there are also some pets and transmog and things like that, all the usual rewards you would expect from WoW content, as well as the Delver's Dirigible, which is being shown off outside of the Explorers League headquarters here, and it's a customizable flying mount. It's sort of a biplane, but also a jalopy and a bit of an engineering type of mount. You don't have to be an engineer to use it. It looks nice. I am a fan. I look forward to kind of building mine up and customizing it throughout Season 1 of The War Within. Alright, now let's talk about difficulty. Delves were way overtuned at points in the beta, specifically the last time that we talked about them on this channel, but they feel pretty good now. My channel manager Sunset and I have run a lot of them together, and they felt super easy in a duo group. I also feel that they are pretty easily soloable as a variety of melee DPS specs. Even the ones that I'm pretty rusty on feel completely safe and fine. Havoc Demon Hunter and Fury Warrior specifically feel great. I think a little bit of self-healing goes a long way in this kind of solo content. They're also very easy to solo as a tank. The only specs I could see maybe struggling with this would be solo healers, and even then I would think that would apply more to the flimsier ones like Holy Priest. And to that I would say, play Shadow. It's fun and good. If I weren't talking about tanks all the time, I probably would play more Shadow Priest. And just kind of in general, I think if your main is a tank or a healer, you should at least learn to play one DPS spec in this game. Not only is learning new things fun, but it'll make you better at your main. I can say that from experience over the years. It has definitely made me better at tanking to play DPS occasionally. It's not that you can't just play one spec, but it's kind of an unnecessary self-imposed handicap that just makes you slower and less good. It's like skipping leg day or only learning how to dribble with your right hand. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And Delves are a perfect place to practice a spec that you're not familiar with because the stakes are extremely low. The only person who's going to notice you is Bran, and he's very encouraging and helpful. And on that subject, let's talk about Bran. Bran has two main modes, and you're able to customize these pretty easily. In the delves, there will be a big box at the start of every single delve that will let you change your abilities and change the role that you have assigned to Bran. So he can be either a healer or a damage dealer. As a damage dealer, I don't really think he's all that great. The AI is about what you would expect for a helpful NPC in an online video game, and by that I mean, he's doing his best. But don't complain about it, he's definitely less stupid than most NPCs, and he does have some useful skills, and we can kind of look at those in the in-game menu here. This is him with all of his skills unlocked. This is his damage dealing skills. He'll throw down steel traps occasionally, he'll summon a guy to bomb an area, he will interrupt enemies from time to time, he'll throw down a freezing trap, he will execute enemies at 30% health, which is actually pretty nice. I like that one quite a bit, and then he'll occasionally give you a damage buff. This is okay. When we compare that to the healing version, he will throw down healing potions that are really easy to see and heal for quite a bit of health. He will throw down a big healing sphere that you can kind of stand near and get a lot of healing from. This is actually quite good. And then he has this skill that removes crowd control from you. He has this skill that makes you take less damage and also prevents crowd control. He has another skill that will dispel you, and he uses that pretty much instantly. And then he also has an emergency heal. So as you can kind of tell, I think he is significantly better as a healer than he is as a damage dealer. Now as a healer, he still shoots a gun, he still does some damage. He's a healer in the Overwatch sense, but he doesn't have the damage skill set, and his damaging skills are kind of mediocre other than the execute, I feel anyways. I've never noticed him helping on damage other than that execute. So as a healer, he pretty much spams these heals out. He does a lot to make you crowd control immune, like in multiple different ways, and then the dispel is so fast. It is like less than 1 global of dispel time, so I really do find him a lot better as a healer, and I've actually found that having him play as a healer allowed me to clear a lot faster because I could then just be significantly more aggressive and do a lot more damage myself than he could anyways. Now, you're also able to customize some different combat and utility skills, and I haven't found anything in either of these sets that really stands out as being super duper amazing. And I actually think that's okay, that they're all just kind of okay, because that means you kind of have an ability to choose something that you might like more or less than other things. This one in particular, I like the concept. He'll shoot an arrow at you, he'll actually do a call out, a voice line, and then shoot an arrow at you, and you can go stand between him and an enemy and it'll hit the enemy. The problem I found with this one is that he likes to do this after everything has died, so I'm pretty much just rocking with the one where he will occasionally make somebody have a big crit bonus on them. I like that a lot. And then the other ones, that the sort of utility options, I really just kind of like either this amorphous relic that makes it so you kind of always have some sort of either like health and damage bonus while you're in combat, or move speed and haste bonus in combat. Both of those are pretty good. And then this streamline relic that just gives you move speed whenever you're out of combat. That's really good. It speeds up the whole process of running delves, and that's kind of what you're looking for, is just to move faster. I think that's pretty good. Now, there are a lot of ore and herb nodes throughout delves as well, and some skinnable beasts and some fishing spots too. You can gather those if you have the corresponding trade skill, but Bran will also pull a bit of extra ore or herbs out of the nodes as well, even if you don't have that at all, and he does that with this skill that he learns, I think at like level 6 or 7, which is called Gathering Tools. Now, all you have to do to make him do the extra bit of harvesting of those resources is just walk him over to the nodes. He'll harvest them automatically, and it won't consume the node either, so you can still tap them if you are a gatherer. Now, as I said, Bran does some callouts. He'll make callouts when there are enemy attacks that you're supposed to dodge. He'll say like dodge or whatever, move out of that. And I think that makes him pretty useful for teaching newer players about mechanics that exist throughout the game. I also think it just kind of makes him feel a bit more like an actual companion instead of just kind of, you know, like an extra damage turret, so I think that's nice. So if you're playing in a group, you're only going to get one Bran, and we did some testing on this, and it seems like it is the party leader's Bran only that arrives in the group. You don't get a Bran you don't like get to bring 5 people in and then have 5 different copies of Bran. So whatever your party leader has your Bran configured as, whether he's a healer, damage guy, or whatever, that will apply to everyone. Now, in terms of leveling Bran up, you're able to level him up to 60 eventually, and this is account-wide, but currently it is capped at level 15. It will be uncapped, and you'll be able to take him all the way up to 60 once Season 1 starts. He gains skills up to level 11, and then he just gets stronger with each level. I don't believe there are any further skills. I could be wrong, but I don't believe there are any further skills along the way to level 60. The main sources of XP for leveling up Bran are looting misplaced curios throughout the delves, which are just kind of randomly scattered all over the place, but there will often be a couple of them in the reward rooms, and then just finishing the delves. So there's an incentive to run delves as quickly as you can and to spam run the fastest possible one. Now, prior to the recent low-level character nerfs, the way that you would do this would be you'd lock a character at level 70, didn't necessarily need to even have good gear, and then you would spam run Takrothen Abyss, which is in Aj-Kahet. This is actually a pretty hard delve, but it is short, so a character that can just consistently one-shot everything could clear through it in about 2 minutes or less. So you do that 3 to 5 times per level, and then you level Bran up until he's at the cap and you're good to go. But that has been nerfed. And the spore bits in Fungal Folly no longer respawn, so that place has actually risen to the top for me. Now, as I said, my channel manager Sunset and I have spent a lot of time doing all of the delves, and both Fungal Folly and the Dread Pit really stood out to us as the two fastest now. You can still run Takrothen Abyss if you want, or just do all of them really. I think that's a good approach. Bran simply does not take a lot of time to level up anyway, and there's not really a huge reward for getting him to level 15, so despite the desire of content creators to make things that draw eyes, and doing a here's how to level Bran fast video would be kind of pointless. It's like a tutorial on how to make toast. Just run the delves and click the curios and he'll level up. All right, now I want to talk about Bountiful Delves, and Bountiful Delves are a thing that will rotate every day, and the way that you access them is through coffer keys. The way you get coffer keys is by doing world content throughout Khaz-Algar. You can get up to 4 intact coffer keys each week by doing things that give you a whole reward chest. There are a handful of quests in each of the different zones that kind of serve as a big meta quest, whether you have to do a bunch of world quests to then unlock a super for world quest, or the quests that take you into heroic dungeons, that sort of thing. There are lots of different ways to get them, but the point is that you're able to get 4 a week. So the way that they work essentially is a Bountiful Delve will have a much bigger reward at the end, and you're able to unlock it by consuming that key. At this point in the state of the game, you're only able to go up to a level 3 delve, so if you want to min-max your rewards, which I do, you don't want to do that. You don't want to use those keys. So you want to hold all of your keys until Season 1, and then use them all on level 8 delves, the kind of maximum reward structure. Now, you can still run the Bountiful Delves, and that's fine if you run a Bountiful Delve and you just don't unlock the Bountiful cash at the end of the delve. It doesn't consume the key. It does turn the delve into a non-bountiful delve at that point though, so if you do want to use the coffer at the end of the run, then you need to have a key before you zone in. Now, doing these Bountiful Delves is sort of a part of upgrading the Delver's dirigible, as I understand, unlocking more stuff for it, and obviously it's good for getting gear, so I am looking forward to do them, but as I said, I'm really wanting to min-max the gear rewards for them, so I am waiting until Season 1 starts before I do anything involving actually using the coffer keys and doing Bountiful Delves the way that they're intended. Until that point, I'm just going to be running regular bland delves with no bounty at all associated. Okay, let's wrap things up. Delves. I think they're pretty neat. There is a good bit of variety in them, much more than we've had with soloable content in previous expansions. You know, things like island expeditions, Torghast scenarios, grand hunts, all of that stuff I think is a lot less repeatable than delves are. And I think the reward structure of delves is a lot better as well. I think they're a fairly successful experiment. Capping the reward structure well below that of other types of content definitely cements them as a more casual activity, and I think that's okay. There's still something that's going to be useful early on in gearing up a character, whether it's right at the start of the season, during progression rating or whatever, or even if it is just months into a season, you're kind of gearing up and all a little late, and that is something you could dip your toes into and do without anyone else at all and still get a bit of gear out of it. So there's upside even if the ceiling is kind of low. I would prefer that they were a little more competitive with other in-game avenues in terms of gearing, but I'm sure that would make some people irrationally angry, so whatever, it's fine. Heroic gear is still pretty good as far as rewards go for solo content. Really can't complain. Alright, that's it. Have fun in Delves, I know I am. Thanks for watching. Bye.